Menteri Rangba ke Jalan Meghalaya Conrad ke Sangma, hak sipau tarik unaitung araja arpusau shibenta na ke jingkran bat kilat pathai kubor din ke jingalang kinhun Menteri ke Sorkar MDA2 ula pentip bagi bor Pulit bat ke Sorkar hi kila Ujor South Lake Ejahar persya eki sengbalang ki bala Khynra work permit hagi khendiat sngi bala dap. Menteri Rangba ula ong bagi nu kinu kimla ban Khynra kita ki jat kot. Ulaong baka jing shim baka jing Khynra work permit kadai namar baka Sorkar India kam ai pentrai kam ya ke inner permit baka jing bom pentrai kam ya ke Meghalaya Resident Security and Safety Act MRSSE arja kanriuhi kam ya hab satya.
No, there is nothing called work permit. There is a registration that is done by the Labour Department, and that is what is the only policy that is followed by our state. And this, as you know, was done by our government only in the first MDA1, and it's the Labour Department that looks into all these aspects. So, as I said, there's no work permit or nothing like that, but registrations are mandatory, and this is done, and this was done, if you recall, from all aspects. Number one, as I said, to provide safety for the respected individuals, labourers also, and also to keep a full database of the different labourers who are working in the state.
So, but we have seen the KSU, sir, they are intensifying this checking, what they call this work permit, checking on work permit, based on the fact that they have alleged that the government has failed to implement ILP and MRSSA. And question number two relating to this, sir. How many major projects of the government have been stalled due to this checking by the KSU? Because they have sent back so many migrant laborers citing that they don't have work permits.
So you have got a lot of facts incorrect. Let me just mention that to you. Number one, nobody is authorized to check these papers. That's number one. Nobody can. Of course, there are incidents where individuals go or organizations go and all, but that is not as per the law. So therefore, they are completely on the wrong side of the law when they go and check. And just to inform that the government and the police has in fact filed cases against, 4 cases have been filed, FIRs have been filed against different organizations who have done this in the past few days. Number two, you've mentioned that that individuals have or organizations have mentioned that government has failed to implement the ILP. There is the question of implementing the ILP doesn't arise because ILP has not been passed or not been implemented or not been enforced in the state of Meghalaya. We have passed a resolution in the state assembly that urging the government of India to implement the ILP in the state, but that has not been cleared yet. So the question of not implementing it doesn't arise. That's number two. MRSSA is a fact, again, you are aware that we had passed the MRSSA, made the amendments in it, but it was at the governor's level, and governor had then sent it or mentioned that it should be sent to the central government, home ministry, for president's assent. And accordingly, we had sent it. They had sent back and asking us to look into different aspects, which again, we are examining those aspects and seeing how to move forward because a lot of points that were mentioned by the government. So the question of non-implementation doesn't arise. Regarding the question of different projects being stalled, no project has been stalled because of this kind of, checks, whatever they call it. I wouldn't call it checks. They are just simply coming and intervening and trying to, disturb these projects, which is not correct. These projects, whatever projects are going on, are in the interest of the state and the people. If anybody has any concerns and issues, they should follow and they should ask the departments to find out and give a list. And of course, if anybody has any concerns, we're ready to inform and give them the information. But as I said, taking the law in their own hands and going and do the checking, social checking or whatever they may call it, is something that is actually not at all acceptable. And as I said, as per law, and the provisions of the law, the police will take necessary action.
So by the sound of it doesn't look like the government is very stern in its decision and its action, because this is not the first time that such incidents are happening. Time and again, last time a labourer who was killed at Maura, also he's from Bihar. Then another, suddenly this, we're getting calls from outside, they're asking that is Meghalaya still safe for non-tribals?
You see, there are incidents. Last time also, if you are aware, that arrests have been made in those cases. So those are the news that sadly the press doesn't carry. You carry the more sensational news. But when those arrests were made, then there were reactions, but we stuck to those arrests and the cases are still going on. So we have been firm, but that was not carried again in the press. Now also, in fact, as I said, we have already filed cases, and as per the provisions of the law, the action will be taken. I don't want to say anything more right now. The police is doing its job.
Kumno ba raju?
Kumne kong, ale.
Kumno ki kam ki jam baro?
Hoi ki biang lor.
Ai kira shon jong menta ubnai.
Hoi ta.
Ba? Ukau iu unia.
Kong undi udai ukau plus F, ukau fortified.
Ukau 45? Henry ba? Ukau 45 ba uto ba ai barabor uya pher ayu. Uto ukau ba ai barabor umdei ubabha.
Kong, kini ki jingbam ki bangi juba man kasngi, ki kta ya kakot akhya ka jongi. Manta ngi dei ban sngau tu hi ba ki jingbam ki bangi bam ki long ni em ki batei ya kamet ka phat jongi. Ladangi bam ki jingbam ki bomtei ya kamet ka phat jongi. Ila banyo ya ka jingpang dunas nam bar ka jing bria ki kman.
Henry ba uni ukau 45 udan jinga dei kumno.
Yo iya ka jingtei ya kamet ka phat ka jongi. Nak jingbam ka bangi bam man la kasngi kum ka iron, folic acid, vitamin B12, iodine, zinc, vitamin A bat vitamin D. Namar ke jingduna jongkine ngengat hagi babun ki jajingpa ka sorkar ka persangkar bala banwanra ya ka koj ka khia. Ka FSSAI ka batha ba ukhau ata kamlu kadut bat ke ompnyang bam. Ki dei bandon ya ke jingbam ki bantei ya kamet. Knang baha ka shisngi ngila banyo laipo hadu 100% kini ki jingbam bantei ya kamet. But lai kerteng yaki 45 ila banitu yaki ta ka sharp plus F aki.
Ba? Uni ujing bam plus F pat ngila banyo na eh.
Nang ni kong. Nagani ka daw ka sorkar kalapan mi yaki skim ICDS, MDM, PDS kabha na kabenta upaj ba. Ka sorkar mi kalamang kerpang ha ka jingi trelang bat kidukan da ka ba kilapha da ukhau ba bhatam na kabenta ki khna bat kilong kimi ki ba armen. Dei na kata ka daw patang da uni ujat khau ba bhatam ban sam shabaro kilong yeng. Nang ni shakman. Tang da ukhau 45.
Ba, fikran ya ka jing shisha.
Lawan Ra Shafi Lingba ko office jong Commissionerate of Food Safety Meghalaya.